back to Fantasy Scope, where we dive into the latest news, theories, and deep dive breakdowns across fantasy entertainment. Amazon's Fourth Wing adaptation has a new showrunner, Meredith Averill, a move that I think actually reveals a lot about where this series is heading. In this report, we'll break down Averill's past work and predict what her creative patterns suggest about the tone, pacing, and focus of the upcoming adaptation.
Just a quick disclaimer before we dive in. Nothing here is official, just my own research and opinions. Some of this might spoil too much for you, so consider this your heads up. And as always, interpretations vary, so drop your theories in the comments. Half the fun is hearing your take.
Amazon MGM Studios and Michael B. Jordan's Outlier Society have officially replaced Fourth Wing's original showrunner, Moria Wally Beckett, with Meredith Averill. The switch was confirmed through industry trades back in September. A showrunner is the creative CEO of a television series, the person who combines head writer duties with day-to-day production control. They decide what stays from the book and what's condensed and what completely changes. When a showrunner changes before filming, it's like swapping a general before battle. Same army, same plan on paper, but different tactics on the ground. Because Averill's background is steeped in fantasy thrillers like Locke Key and The Haunting of Hill House, this shift signals Amazon is steering Fourth Wing towards a tense, character-driven suspense fantasy rather than just a romance adaptation. So expect the dragons, the parapet, Basgate's danger to feel more claustrophobic, more cinematic, far less just like a campus romance, which I think, based off what I've read, is exactly what fans want. In short, this move is not chaos, it's calibration. Before Fourth Wing, Averill co-created Locke Key for Netflix, wrote on The Good Wife, helped build The Haunting of Hill House, and created the CW's alien romance Starcrossed. Let's look at the common thread. Family bond under pressure. Slow unfolding mysteries, emotional trauma packaged in genre form. In Hill House, grief became a haunted house metaphor. In Locke & Key, lost powered magic and mystery. Even Starcrossed paired forbidden love with political tension. Averill specializes in heartfelt tension, love, loyalty, and fear, all colliding in confined spaces. Translating that to Fourth Wing, expect violent, chronic illness and isolation to take the center stage. Averill will likely use visual storytelling, such as sound design, lighting, rhythm of breath, to externalize Violet's limitations and anxiety. Meanwhile, Zayden Ryerson won't just be the romantic lead. He'll become the moral barometer, the source of dread and trust simultaneously. Exactly the kind of duality Averill loves to write. That means the romantasy tone would evolve into dark romantasy suspense. Still romantic, but it's going to be pulsing with psychological unease. This approach aligns with the Outlier Society's brand, emotionally intense, prestige-leaning fantasy rather than glossy YA escapism. The timing of the hire matters. Fourth Wing broke records across TikTok and bookstores. The author, Rebecca Yarros, handed Amazon the entire 5-book arc early this year. The studio now brings in Averill right before the writer's room staffs up, which means shaping the blueprint before a single frame is shot. When studios replace a showrunner before filming, it usually reflects a disagreement about tone and scope. Beckett's past work with Anne with an E and Breaking Bad emphasizes literary dialogue and show realism, which is beautiful, but not as grounded as fans have been asking for. But Averill's wheelhouse, world building that feels heightened. Fog, keys, portals, dragons. She builds mythology, not just a story. So the swap hints that Amazon wanted Fourth Wing to lean deeper into the fantasy spectacle market, now dominating Prime Video. Think Wheel of Time and Rings of Power, while still keeping romance books intact for the book talk crowd. Here's the shocking possibility. With Averill's hand on the wheel, the Fourth Wing adaptation could restructure the book entirely, starting not with Violet's induction, but in the aftermath of a fight or a battle sequence. Averill loves non-linear openings. She did it with Hill House, blending the past and the present, so we may see cold open catastrophe, followed by flashbacks that build tension. This format could instantly differentiate the show from other romantasy titles, positioning it for award season prestige, and perhaps even expand minor POVs like Xaden's or Dane's earlier than the books do. This isn't just a total adjustment, it's potentially a structural overhaul to make Fourth Wing feel like event television, not page-to-screen storytelling. There's quite a bit of phantom sentiment across Reddit, TikTok, and Discord, and they're mixed. Some celebrate the shift, citing her visual flair and emotional pacing, but others worry that Amazon will, quote, sanitize adult themes or downplay Violet's chronic illness. The most shared phrases is asking for them not to water it down and to keep the dragon's personalities. They're also worried about Xaden's skin tone. These are non-negotiables for fans. Failing them could fracture goodwill fast. So what fans are really asking for is tone integrity, which I think this shift just is gonna help defend that. That blend of ferocity, heartbreak, and the heat that defined the book. They're less concerned with one-to-one dialogue than the emotional truth. The writer, Rebecca, is still attached as an executive producer, and she has said she's read multiple drafts and is, quote, thrilled, end quote. She insists Amazon understands the heart of the story and says that Xaden will remain portrayed as a man of color, echoing the novel's intention. That reassurance carries weight. It suggests creative alignment despite the leadership shuffle. From campus fantasy to high-stakes war drama, the focus may tilt towards survival, strategy, and rebellion. Less Hogwarts and more Game of Thrones. So the romance, it's gotta stay. I mean, it's a major part of this book. It's one of the main reasons a lot of people picked it up to begin with. But I think it's gonna simmer through suspense. Averill tends to use attraction with fear, so Violet and Xaden's chemistry would feel more dangerous and thus more cinematic. I mean, there's going to be a visual language upgrade. I expect the setting to look gothic, kind of industrial, a little bit like Hill House, met a dragon hangar. Dark stone, metal lights, heat shimmers. I think there's also going to be a narrative pacing reset. Averill's mystery box tendencies could mean every episode ends with some revelation or cliffhanger. I think they want the audience reach to broaden. This version might capture both romantasy readers and fantasy thriller readers, and then overall fantasy viewers. If Amazon nails it, Fourth Wing could become Prime Video's signature, quote, romantasy, but if it misses, fans will say they Hollywood-washed a beloved book. It's fun to piece these worlds together as a community, so add your thoughts in the comments. What details or theories are you seeing that I missed? I really appreciate you guys being patient with me. My disability has flared up the last couple of days, which is why I'm trying to still put these videos out, and they might feel just a little bit rushed. And for upcoming videos, I plan on adding a more personal touch. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next highly anticipated cast reveal for the Fourth Wing adaptation. I cover the latest fantasy news, leaks, and story theories across the worlds that readers request. And I'll see you in the next one.